mystery and horror, the air itself is filled with monsters.
Children of the night, what music they make. He's alive! He's alive!
Well, hello, all you monster fiends, and thank you for joining us for another deep dive, factoid-filled episode exploring Hollywood's most famous monsters. I am your mistress of ceremonies, Sam, and I am joined, as always, by Dan from Bleeding Marvelous. Say hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan. Dan with the glasses on, Dan.
Yeah, they're real. They're not a filter, just so people know, because everybody keeps telling me because they're bright green, they look like a filter pair of glasses.
I'm not going to lie. Generally thought when you logged on, I was like, oh, different.
Snapchat, yeah, I'm going down with the kids, me.
Absolutely love them. Love the shirt as well. I forgot to mention that earlier with your
Spirit
little
Halloween trick or treat special.
Oh, look at that.
Watch the episode. Come back.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here with me Trumpy jumper on because I'm freezing. But today is not a monster-filled, factoid-filled episode. Today we are debuting a little segment we're going to be chucking in from here and there, now and then.
Now both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. And we have asked Mike, we did say this last week, but we've asked Mike from the geek/horror asylum to pick a film for us. Any film. You just chuck a film our way and we are going to review it. And that's what we're doing today. Okay. And the movie that he chose was Anything for Jackson. So I'm going to get the disclaimer out of the way with. And then we are going to crack on into Anything for Jackson. Because I feel like we might have, I feel like you think we're not going to have a lot to say. I feel like we're going to have more than enough to say.
Okay.
I wrote notes down that will literally blow your mind.
Okay.
So everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us in the Facebook page, Discord, or the comments section where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have, though, is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. We can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behavior out of nerdism. I really need to change the tone of my voice right now because I am sounding too posh for my liking. And sorry, what was the end of that disclaimer?
Oh, don't be a dick. Yeah, that bit. Yeah,
that bit. Right. So, Anything for Jackson. This is a 2020 Shudder exclusive horror mystery, scoring an impressive 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's starring Julian Richings, Sheila McCarthy, and Konstantin Mettelos. What lengths would you go to for love? As Monsters Up North
not off
brings you...
this crap, I'll tell you that much. Too much effort. Too much effort.
Yeah. So do you want to give the synopsis of Anything for Jackson?
Right. Okay. The one thing I do like about this, I will quickly preempt this before I say, is the age of the main protagonists in it. You very rarely find a film where the two main characters are of a grandparent's age, shall we say, or common grandparents' age. So I'm going to say that they're in their early 70s. I think that would be fair to...
I think that would be fair to surmise.
Yes.
Am I just making words up? We'll just add that in the dictionary.
It's fair to say. What can I say? Yeah. So it's basically a pair of grandparents who lost their grandson tragically, and they are looking to find a way to bring their grandson back. Is really the synopsis, isn't it?
That's it. That is the ups and downs of it. Is they lost their grandson. I mean, the title really gives it away. Anything for Jackson.
Their grandson's name's Jackson. Oh, spoilers.
Spoilers alert. Yeah. So first off the bat, I'm going to say this film is absolutely beautiful. Visionary wise, like the house itself. Holy shit, that is a beautiful house. That is actually the director's house.
Yeah.
No, director or the writers, one of the twos.
Is it? I wrote down their names. I think it's like Justin, Dick,
You did
and
not.
Kevin. Yeah, Justin, Dick, and Keith Cooper were the writer and the director, and they both wrote or both directed. There was something where they both did one thing, but one of them did the other.
Well, they're partners. Their most famous titles are Hallmark Christmas movies.
Us.
Yeah. So these,
Oh, no.
them, horrible things that get shown at the Christmas time. Yeah, they're really famous for doing them. So this is something completely different. This is kind of like their way of saying we're going to step away from that.
Yeah.
And do this. And to be honest, it is a good start. It was a really good start. I have a bit to say on this film because I watched with intent eyes and I wrote notes as I went. I just want to talk about the cast first. You mentioned the elder cast members, which is Julian Richards and Sheila McCarthy. Now, the second Sheila McCarthy came on the telly, and when she's doing our little speech of, you have been brought into our residence and we're not going to hurt you. I'm sitting there going, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
How the fuck do I know her?
Exactly what I did.
Is it the same film that I literally screamed, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen?
No.
It's because she's the mum.
It was the day after tomorrow.
Oh, really? I could have just said that.
She was one of the ladies in the library, when they all they finally get into the library and there's that big
It's been
cast.
fucking dear.
Yeah. That's where I recognized her from. But other than that, I think she's got one of those faces that you think you've seen her in everything, but really you haven't, so.
Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. That Lindsay Lohan classic with that one with Megan, a very young Megan Fox. She plays Lindsay Lohan's mum, and I'm not gonna lie, I really like that film.
You're allowed to like things.
It's so fun. So yeah, I lost my mind when I realized it was her. Constantine Metalis, who plays the victim in all of this.
Yeah.
What a fucking beautiful woman she is. She had such a uniquely beautiful face. You don't seem to think so. You went really quiet.
I don't think I even really, it didn't register too much with me. I think I was concentrating so much on
why is she there?
The rest of it. Yeah, the little, because there's little things you've got to keep on top of during this film. And I think just looking out for so many different things, I don't think I was really paying attention too much.
I mean, we'll get into it, but I don't think until the very end when I started having a look at like breakdown videos of how fucking clever this film actually is.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame and I think that's my problem when I'm watching something new or I'm watching something that I have to review and make sure I've got notes, because like my memory's shocking at the best of times. So I have to make notes that make sense to me as the film's going on, so I can kind of keep track of things. I'm not the bigger picture is going on around us and I'm missing it. So I was I kicked myself a little bit on some of the videos because I needed the end. I needed to have like some kind of explanation of the ending because I couldn't quite make my mind up what it is I was looking at. And everyone said the same.
I've tried everywhere. Ending explained. You explained nothing. Not one single thing. And I sat 25 minutes through this video for the ending to be explained, and you said nothing.
I feel like I got a good understanding of the ending, but it might just be my understanding of the ending and someone just validating, and I'm going, yep, that's it. I'm right. I'm completely right. But Constantina looked like she really reminded us of the nun, the actress who plays the nun.
Bonnie Aarons, yeah.
Yeah, she really reminded us of her. Just the shape of her face and kind of like her strong features. I was like, oh, I see it. I generally thought it was an actress from The Walking Dead, but it's not. She has 0 credits to her name. Yeah. So there you kind of 3 main people. Well, you see some others.
Yeah, I mean, Julian Richards, if you don't know who he is, Julian Richards is Death.
Yeah.
Everything he's ever been in, he's played Death, the Grim Reaper, the Ferryman.
Yeah.
that his literally is his typecast, really. I mean, he played the creepy janitor in Urban Legend.
Oh
He
yeah.
was in Supernatural. I think he was.
The Death in Supernatural.
Yeah,
Pestilence.
yeah, he was Doom Patrol. He's been in Doom Patrol, Supernatural, American Gods, Dead Silence. There's just a huge, the guy's credits for the amount of stuff. He's one of these guys. He's never played a lead role that that I've been aware of.
Mhm.
I'm sure he has, but in the respect of what I see him in,
Yeah.
know him for, he's always been small bit parts, but you see him and you go, oh, it's that creepy looking guy again. So
And I totally get the creepiness in this to a certain degree, but I got like a lot of warmth from him.
yeah, because the how it turns out towards the end when you actually find out what's going on.
Uh-huh. I get a
So
lot of warmth from him.
yeah, you've also got the guy who played Ian, the crazy ginger guy,
My God. What
comb
the
over.
fuck was him?
I couldn't place him either because there's a guy on YouTube and TikTok that does stupid stuff like sees how many elastic bands he can fit around a watermelon, and he looked like him. And when you can't place people, and then I
Yeah.
thought, no, he's been in something, so I had to look. And have you seen the clusterfuck that was Raccoon City, the Resident Evil Raccoon City movie?
Oh, I saw a lot of videos on TikTok of the dance, of the song, some kind
Right.
of song that was played.
Well, he was in that. Not a very big part. He plays like a crazy scientist that cracks the case, and that's why she comes back to Raccoon City to find
Right.
her brother and blah blah blah. Anyway, it's him. He's in it. And when you're just like trying to place somebody, the guy who played the one of the
Mm,
demons is
yeah.
he also played the jangly man in Scary Stories to Tell in the
Oh,
Dark.
I've
He was
gone
also,
really cold inside.
he was also Baba Yaga in
Yeah.
the Hellboy movies. His name is Troy James, and he's a contortionist by trade.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
He
I
can
think
go and
he's fantastic.
fuck. Yeah. Oh, 100%. But him in that film can go and fuck right off.
He was Mike. He was also in one of Mike Flanagan's. He was in the Midnight Club. So
Oh, really?
yeah, he was in one of the stories. They all told stories.
Oh, God, yeah.
So
I can't, I like, yes, I know I've watched it, but I can't, fuck me. Like, with me, if I've only watched it once,
yeah.
I've never seen it at all. Oh, yeah, I will talk about him in a minute, but
Yeah.
yeah, you just made my insides go fucking cold. Yeah, don't get us wrong, this movie was, it was like not scary, but it had its moments of, oh, oh. It's the best way to describe it. Yeah, the
I mean,
teeth lady can get in the fucking bin.
I think it was really clever in the fact that the majority of it was based in one room.
Yeah.
However, you did get exterior shots. You got his office.
Mm-hmm.
You got the kitchen. It wasn't really a large set because it was filmed in the houses.
Yeah.
So it was there. That was it.
Think the house, so everything apart from the bedroom is the actual house.
Yeah.
The bedroom is whoever the house didn't belong to, it's the other person's
Yeah.
bedroom. And that is literally it. You have his office, which I think is just kind of like a general office space. But what I found really beautiful about it was the aesthetic of it all. The color matches everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like the from the house to his office, there's no difference in color.
Everything's like very bright
Mm.
in the sense of not bright as in like contrast is turned up, but
No,
like clean and clinical.
clean. Yes, and it's crisp as well.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of crisp, and I really appreciated that with this film. And this is probably, I think, within the first 5 minutes, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna like this. Just based on the aesthetics alone, I feel like I'm gonna like this.
I think it was a bit of a shock though, because the way that they set up the beginning, just an old couple in their kitchen having a chat about
Just
food,
having breakfast.
and then they get really giddy and they're like, "Oh, she's here, she's here, she's here." So you think to yourself, "Oh,
Who's coming?
someone's bringing some kids around, or the kid, their daughter's here and she's bringing some kids." And next thing you see is Julian, whose name's Henry in this. So
Yeah.
I'll remember to call him Henry. Henry pulling this woman, this pregnant woman in, like with his arm around her neck and his hand over her mouth. And then Audrey's trying to whack her around the head with with a candlestick. And I was like,
what are you doing, sweetheart?
that flipped pretty quickly. I was like, oh.
It's literally the opening scene.
Yep.
You are flung straight in at the opening scene. And this lovely, they just look like a normal, everyday couple is hurling this poor pregnant lady down the basement.
Well, no, they put her into the lift.
Oh, that's right. It's a lift. So the house, you find out why the lift's there later on. I mean, to be fair, that house needed a lift because it was massive. It was like maybe 3-4 stories high. Like, it was huge.
Like that, yeah.
Weirdly built as well. Like, I loved it as I kind of, weird. I love weird houses and shapes. I think they're great. So yeah, I can't remember what the girl's name was.
Oh God, I did write it down. Hang on.
I do have Audrey and Henry written down.
Shannon,
that's it. So poor Shannon finds herself tied up in a bed with this woman coming in with this pre-written script, which I could not stop fucking laughing at.
It was very well done.
Yeah. Audrey in a little woolly cardie.
Yeah,
sitting down. Little old lady, little old nana, sitting down in a chair, reading out, "We're not here to hurt you. We've just got you handcuffed to a bed."
Yeah.
And it's just a brilliant speech of, oh, hang on. Oh, that was it. Dr. Walsh is not here yet. Oh, hang on. Henry's not here yet. Henry's not here. We're going to have to wait a minute. And she waits and she pauses and then she goes, "And this is Henry, as you will know, Dr. Walsh."
Because it turns out that Henry is a pregnancy gynecologist or an OBGYN or something like that, whatever it is they have in America. And he had technically pre-picked Shannon for the purpose that they need her for.
Yeah.
And he was tracking her.
It doesn't come quite clear straight away why they want that.
No.
But as Shannon's laying in bed and having this beautiful speech read out to her, she clocks what can only be described as Milky Bar Kid Part 2.
No glasses.
No glasses, Milky Bar. I actually just put creepy Milky Bar Kid on
He's stroking her face, isn't he, to start? Like proper.
Yeah.
Starts talking to her.
A little creep. And Audrey realizes that she can see this little boy, because then we soon find out that little boy is a ghost.
Of course he is.
Yeah. A lot of ghosts in this. More ghosts than I actually realized was in this film. But yes, that was little Jackson sitting on the floor. And I don't think it comes clear even at that point what the plan is. Just that we're not going to hurt you. We're definitely not going to hurt your baby. But that there was nothing kind of laid out even at that point as to why she was there. I did like the line when she's screaming, Jesus help us, and she went, "No, we don't use that. We don't use that name in this house." It's
like when you come into my house. No.
We don't use that name in this house.
I turn into bloody what's the name from Family Guy. No.
So what we do find out about the lovely Audrey and Henry is that in their grief, I don't know if this is the right or wrong way to handle grief, but you do you. They decided to join a Satanist group. And I guess it kind of would make sense because, their God is gone. Their God just took their child, their grandchild away from them.
Born again Satanists, aren't they?
Yeah. Who go to this lovely little community centre in the middle of town to have their little Sabbath meeting, which just tickled me pink.
Do you know what I wrote for that? It says here, bloody fake Satanist kill star wearing motherfuckers. That's what I wrote down there, and I was like,
but if anyone wants a transcript of my notes, I am more than happy to give them, because it starts off with normal house / people. What the fuck with the girl? Who's dropped her off? Creepy Milky Bar kid. Audrey and Henry, in brackets, Dr. Walsh. The need to bring their grandson back. Oh my God, that kid is dead. And then, haha, don't use Jesus.
Oh,
It
brilliant.
literally goes down this line. And my next one was, oh my God, that receptionist. I wanted to punch her face in so
She
badly.
was so annoying. I was like, I wouldn't employ her. I'd sack her
You
for
would
that.
not keep her goddamn mouth shut. It's one of those people who where you, in your head you're like, don't fucking ask the question, and the other person's like, I'm just gonna ask the question repeatedly.
And remind you how stupid you are for forgetting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're the dumbass, not me. I didn't make a mistake. I'm gonna shout it out to everyone. I didn't make a mistake here. He made the mistake.
Yeah.
So Shannon, who is under the care of Dr. Walsh, didn't appear for her appointment. The police come a knocking, and he brushes it off with, yeah, Shannon passed my house, cancelled the appointment, done and dusted, kippers and custard. All's good. Yeah, the receptionist, she didn't cancel it. She didn't cancel the appointment. What are you talking about? Did you see her? When did you see her? Did she ring? How did it? Shut the fuck up, receptionist.
Yeah, see, there's a big hole here and you're dropping me right in it, love. So just
Yeah, so
hush.
shut the fuck up. And he's such a respected man. I guess he really genuinely could have gotten away with it. And she's not dead. She's not dead. She's still alive.
Yeah.
So
She didn't go any further than his house, so she did get to his house. So he wasn't kind of lying there.
No,
But
not at all. So we find out that Audrey and Henry have joined the Satanist group because they have heard that they can bring people back from the dead. There is a book. They found out that this book, there's like thousands and thousands of years. It's basically the Necronomicon.
he went to Jerusalem. Bloody hell.
It went to Jerusalem.
He went to Jerusalem apparently, and or somewhere like that,
Yeah,
and
it was.
And bought it because it was their life savings they spent on this book to try and to hope that it was real when they brought it back with them. And then it's just before they go to that meeting, you see Audrey bring a crow back to life or something, don't you?
Yeah, she didn't just bring one crow back to life. She brought fucking hundreds back.
Yeah.
She's been doing it. It was how, I even wrote down how blasé she been about bringing the dead back. She was just like, just wait there, watch this. Pricks herself, gives it the blood, and then all of a sudden this fucking crow comes back to life, and she's like, look what I did. And he's just standing there like absolute amazement. And he's like, how have you done this? She went, I've been doing this all morning.
And he's like, should we be doing this? And she's like, whoa, whoa, and she brushes him off, doesn't she? She's like, very much like, of course, it's not a problem. And in your head you're going, morally,
should we be doing this?
Should you? I mean, just because you can.
Just because you can. Exactly. There's a lot about Henry. He's not, so obviously he's very much on board with it, but he has a lot of doubt in his heart, and his little hearts of all hearts. But as the film progresses, anything for her. There is no shift in that man's loyalty and that man's love and affection for his wife. She is everything to him, and whatever she wants, she gets.
It should have been called Anything for Audrey, not Anything for Jackson.
Absolutely, because Binks, that was clever. Sorry. For anyone listening on audio, my cat is trying to open a door but manages to close it. So he doesn't waver from her. Even he might have all the doubt in the world.
Yeah. And
he might question things, but it always comes back around to, no, Audrey, we're doing this for you.
Yeah. So it's like they brush it off and he just goes with it. Like, okay, right. Yeah. And then off they trot to their cape wearing Killstar meeting.
Glory be to Satan. Hail Satan. They were sitting in a community centre.
Yeah. Basically with black candles and a bloody cloak. It's like, ugh. All right, yeah, okay.
It was like, if you want your stereotypical looking Satanist, then you were looking right at very much Killstar wearing motherfuckers.
And basically they do what I would call is fake rituals to pledge their
allegiance to the Dark Lord.
Pledge themselves to the Dark Lord, yes, and give themselves over, because with all due respect to these two, they are very naive, I think, and that is a story, that is a theme that plays along with these two. Whilst Henry is a doctor, he's got all the, he's got a lot going on upstairs, he knows what he's talking about. When it comes to this sort of stuff, they're incredibly naive. They don't know what they're dabbling in, and they think that this little Sunday cult they've joined is the real deal, is the real thing. And anyone who understands anything is just like, no, they are the posers of the, they're the Instagram
the Instagram TikToky generation of now. If you want to have a really good in-depth look at the Church of Satan, then please check out Hail Satan, the documentary on Netflix.
The Temple of Satan.
Temple of Satan,
the Satanic Temple.
I ain't no Satanist. Pagan all the way, baby. So
that's therein lies the difference, though. Satanists are the Anton LaVey followers.
Yes.
Temple of Satan, we don't really have a name. We're not really we're not Satanists.
No, it's not. In the grand scheme of it, it really isn't. If you go and have a look, honestly, watch the documentary. It's fucking fantastic. Is
great, but just
brilliant. It just gives you such a great outline of what you are to what you're not. And Anton LaVey, being the fucking crazy sex magic little demon bald-headed man that he was, created a scare tactic amongst the Christians, and
because he got off on it.
Exactly, because he's fucking batshit crazy. But this documentary explains the difference, and to be honest, everything that is said, it's like, morally, that is how you should be. There's no fine line in it.
To sum it up, basically, the Satanic Temple is whatever you put out, you expect back, be it bad or good. Your body is your body and yours alone. No one gets dominion over it. You're the only person who gets to say what goes with it. But you just that is it. You have 7 tenets you live by. And they all basically sum up to those two things. Your body is yours and yours alone. And if you are actively going out there to offend people or be a dick, you have to expect that someone else is going to offend you and be a dick to you back. And another one is that you have to believe that everything is, if it's been scientifically proven, then it must be real.
Science matters.
Basically, there's I can't think of the wording of the tenet, but it's something along the lines of that. It's not for us to question science. We have to question everything else.
I know exactly what you're trying to say. It's like, being to work today, trying to get words out can be sometimes somewhat difficult. But the documentary is absolutely fantastic. It is it's just kind of like a breath of fresh air to listen. And I love the fact that so when you mentioned that you put out what you get and you expect it back on you, they kind of had the same thing with the statue. So they wanted, Baphomet is the statue of the church. Yeah, I'm making sure I'm right. I don't want to cross the Satanists.
It's the very one me and Rob got engaged in front of.
Oh my God, it is.
Temple, yeah.
Yes. Well, they want the statue to be on display. They wanted it outside. Why would they not? If the Christians can have theirs, then why can't they have theirs? And that's what the documentary is kind of like following along, is that kind of procedure. The statue itself, the Baphomet statue, is fucking beautiful. Like, Dan can obviously vouch for it. She cried in front of it.
I mean, to be fair, that was ugly crying, but it was laughing as well, so that's fine. But the thing that I also find a little bit is that Lucian Graves, he sued the makers of Sabrina for using Baphomet, the actual physical statue of the one that we see in the temple, they used in Sabrina.
Yeah.
And it is our that we, I say we, it's the proverbial we, they own it basically. They own that image. And so they actually got, as far as I'm aware, it's either gone to trial or going to trial. And I know they had to remove a lot of the things. They either took it out completely for the following season, or they had to do some changes to it or something. I can't remember how it went down.
I
But
can't remember. That season just
yeah.
so bitterly disappointed me towards the end. But I do
Oh,
remember
terrible.
the first season it being very much like there.
Mm-hmm.
It is a beautiful statue, beautifully crafted. And that is honestly brilliant documentary. I don't know if Netflix still has it on, but it is a Netflix documentary.
It's probably bounding around on Amazon somewhere now.
It'll be somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kind if you want to get into, you know, the real part of Satan, the Satanist church, I hate satanic church, then that documentary is the way to go. Not what these guys did in this movie.
No, very, very polar opposite. Very polar opposite. This is more your Anton LaVey. You got to sacrifice blood to get what you want. You know, you have to bleed for the things you need or want, according to Anton. And that was sort of the theme about these kind of Satanists. So
yeah,
it goes to a part then where you get this weird guy who keeps hassling Henry about
who is that?
I'm like, what the fuck has Rory got to do with anything? Rory, he said no. Leave him alone. He don't want you to shuffle his pavement. Go on.
I know the guy was trying to be kind, but how many times does Henry have to say, no, thank you, Audrey ill, please get off my drive, I just want to leave and go to work. But no, fucking this dude is just standing there. He just appears out of nowhere, and the fucker doesn't disappear until he eventually does. But
yeah.
he doesn't go. He's so annoying. This is about the time where, so have they done the ritual yet?
This is about it, I think.
This is about the ritual time.
Yeah.
So Audrey's already tested her luck with the birdies, and that's worked. So now it's time to reveal the grand plan. And that is to use Shannon's baby as a vessel to bring their grandson back to life.
Yes.
So when they said they weren't going to hurt the baby and they're not going to hurt Shannon, they generally meant it. They're not. They're very much taken care of her because they're going to put, is it their soul?
Jackson's ghost into the baby something. The soul, I suppose. Yeah.
The soul, yeah. They're going to put Jackson in there somehow. Yeah. And they do this. They do the ritual. She says the words, and there is some things that were changed in there. So it's obviously it's in Latin, and it is the Latin saying for whatever it is she's saying, but the writers included another Latin saying that says "Thank you for paying attention."
Yeah.
So it's anyone who can read Latin or understand it. There's a little something in there for them to say thank you for paying attention.
Yeah, because they've set up like this little pentagram on the floor, and in one part of the pentagram you've got one of Jackson's toys, and in the other,
yeah, that's right.
And then the other half of the pentagram, you've got the heart. Now, they didn't say where this heart comes from. They haven't said whether it's human, cow, whatever. I'm going to say it looked human, but I'm leaning to think that it was probably, knowing these two, it wouldn't have been a human heart. They would have got like a cow or a pig or something. I can't see
about the heart.
Huh?
I forgot about the heart.
Well, they both offer their blood and they put it on the heart, and then
they read the words. And yeah,
it gets weird.
It gets really fucking weird, really fucking quick. Because all of a sudden, as she's reading the words, and you know, the room's like taking effect, and all of a sudden the big fuck off demon just stands next to her.
It looked like, do you know, what it reminded me of was a cross between an old-fashioned plague mask but a raven skull at the same time. It was like,
I got very Norse of it. I felt like very Norsey, like kind of like crow. Oh, it's probably Egyptian is what I'm thinking of, actually. Probably not Norse at all. It'll be Egyptian. So yeah, because
it was like, it had like
I can picture it in my head now.
All the sinew on the skull, but it looked like it had like a plague doctor hat and the cloak on, and it was holding like a lantern. It looked like it was holding a lantern.
It was because
he was leaning over and looking at her belly, wasn't he?
Yeah, because this is the demon sergeant.
Oh, is this what? Because that was what I was trying to do. Find some information on the the demons, but I couldn't. So
He is the demon sergeant. He is the unlocker of doorways to tormented souls.
that
Explains a
explains
lot.
what Ian said then, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it explains a lot. You don't know that while he's standing there, but that's what he is. He's the unlocker of doors of tormented souls, and she just screams in his face.
Fair, I think I probably would,
Well,
but
what did you expect?
exactly.
You are dealing with the dark arts, or the dark arts, if you're talking in Harry
Yeah.
Potter talk. I can't do it. My voice won't let us. Dark arts. There we go. And so if you're dealing with that, then expect some fucking shit to go down.
I think she was just so focused on Jackson. I don't think she thought about the consequences other than that.
No.
So she was just so focused on getting Jackson in spirit into the baby,
The transfer.
that she didn't think about all the other possibilities of all the other thousand things that could happen. So
she's so selfish in that respect.
yeah.
She's so selfish, and both of them are to us more on her side, because I feel like this is her idea. She's pushed it. She's looked into it. She's the one who said this is what we need to do, and he's just gone along for the road because, like he says at the end of the film, it's anything for her.
But it's through guilt. This
It's
though,
through
isn't it?
guilt.
It's through
It's
guilt.
the themes of this film is loss, grief, and guilt.
From what I read, now I don't think I can't remember if they say it in the film, but from my understanding is that Audrey was driving the car that crippled her daughter and killed her grandson, and that's why she felt the guilt, and she felt the need to do all of this because it was her fault, as she sees it, that this happened. So
the reason, because Shannon asked the question later on, because it's like the daughter's quite alluded to, isn't it? She goes silent whenever the daughter's brought up. It's just a no-go topic, but she finally lets it go and explains, because Shannon and her, I felt like we're creating a bit of a bond. And the question that she asked them later on about staying, I generally think she meant it.
I think it's Stockholm syndrome to a degree, though, isn't it?
Yeah, massively. But she explains that a daughter was in an accident, that killed Jackson, but it didn't kill her. It left her in a vegetable state where the whole house, hence the reason the lift had to be modified for her. She wasn't living more; she was existing. There was just nothing there, and she eventually died, and she was the reason because she asked the question, why aren't you bringing your daughter back?
Did you see how she died?
Yeah, did I?
She threw herself down the
down the lift
shaft, in the house. So
yes, you wouldn't you? I feel I would.
It's one of those things, isn't it? You know, when you're in.
I mean, to be honest, I would never know unless I was ever put in that position. So might as well retract them words. But
but yeah, it's she befriends Shannon, and Audrey and Shannon do sort of get a bit of a bond. But after this, ritual, Shannon's coughing up blood. The guy's just the weird raven plague doctor opener of the doors and gates. You see Jackson and they're calling him over, like in spirit form, and they're calling him over and he just goes poof, and you don't see him again till the very end. And it's like he was hiding or something. It looked like he ran away or he was hiding, or I couldn't work it out.
I mean, you would, from that big fuck off demon that's just come into the bedroom, because I would have run away. So Shannon, yes, for all that she has the incident with the blood and she's still alive.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Audrey, that's it. Dr. Walsh puts the stethoscope to hear that the baby's still alive as well. Yeah. And as Audrey listens to it, is convinced that that's Jackson's heart.
Yeah.
Because a grandmother would know her grandson's heart.
Apparently, yeah.
I don't think that's the case.
But no, I think if you want something to be true, you'll believe anything.
You're absolutely right. So yeah, that happens. And to be honest, the next scene is almost like nothing had happened. They don't even bring up the fact of what they saw in the bedroom.
It's never alluded
Nothing's
to again.
no, it's and I found that a lot through this. Things that happen don't get talked about. So the next incident is the lady in the bathroom.
I think it's from a psychological point of view, though, just going back to that quickly,
Oh yeah.
because clearly Audrey's never dealt with the grief. Audrey has never, she's never sought counseling. She's never talked about it full stop, really.
No.
Whereas I feel like maybe Henry had accepted what had happened and maybe dealt with it in his own way.
Yeah.
So that's why he was more at peace than Audrey was. So that's why I feel like there's this thing where something happens and they don't talk about it. Something happens, they don't talk about it. And then they're faced to confront it at the end because of what they've done. But like,
no, that makes a lot of sense because he does seem more well put together in his grief, but she just looks like she's trying to reverse it. I will find any way just to get out of this pit, and I get it. I have felt that feeling before, that I will do anything. I would offer anything to get out of this pain. And she is exactly in that place, but unfortunately in this story she actually has the opportunity to just to try it. So yeah, is the lady in the bathroom the next bit?
It is, yeah, when
I need to get this out
Henry's
of the way
in bed and he wakes up and he looks over and he sees who he thinks is Audrey over the sink, but you keep hearing these weird little clinky clonky noises, don't you? Like tiny little ding ding noises. And he starts talking to her about the night before, doesn't he? He says something along the lines of that was crazy. Can you believe what happened?
So blasé.
It wasn't even like it wasn't even like, Jesus Christ, we should never do that again ever in our entire life. What the hell were we
What the fuck were you thinking?
It was just like, oh God, and you know, this is
can you believe we did that, pet? Can you believe it?
And then his phone rings.
And it's Audrey.
It's Audrey. She's downstairs bringing in the groceries. I was like, Henry, what time are you sleeping into, you lazy sod? If she's gone out and done the food shop and you're still in bed, what's happening here?
Yeah, mister. But yeah, that's not Audrey.
That's
Audrey. Somebody else. And the clinky clanky noise that you can hear is a fucking teeth coming out, because what she's been doing at the sink while he's been talking to her is brushing her teeth. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna vom everywhere.
And as she heads towards him, she's flossing and flicking the teeth out. Like and
her mouth is like cut to fucking shit as well.
And there's teeth falling on the floor, and her mouth's all like, all she does is obsessively floss at that point. And I was like, and Henry literally falls out of bed out of shock, and like, and then Audrey's suddenly there, and she's gone, this teeth lady. But then something happens to Audrey as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to get over the teeth lady. Sorry. So when I was watching it, the movie kept buffering, and it buffered right on the fucking point where she turned around. So I snapped a picture and sent it to Dan and went, perfect timing.
Teeth lady's at it again.
Oh God, something about teeth, man. Something about teeth. I could just, even though I've got this beautiful necklace, tooth necklace, I love it, but just something about actual teeth in that. What happened to Audrey?
There was a knock at the door, and Audrey went after it.
Fuck me, this spooked me mind.
There was a tiny, when I say tiny, 5-6-year-old kid with a traditional boo ghost sheet over with the big black eyes. They weren't like empty eyes, they were like drawn on black eyes with a little trick or treat pumpkin. And it kept saying trick or treat, and she was like, this isn't funny, it's not, it's gone that, or it's not that time yet, or it's just
no
past.
It was, this isn't funny, that's really cruel, you need to leave.
And then she shut the door, and then bang 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 on the back door, and she opened the back door, and the kid's there again on the other side of the house on the other door, and there's like no way the kid could have made it round there that quickly. And then the next thing you know, you hear bang bang, and all this kid keeps saying is trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat. Next thing you know, she looks into the lift door, and the kid is in the lift door. But as the kid, like, as she's sort of backing off, you notice that the boo ghost is getting taller and taller and taller. And when the ghost comes out of the door, it's got to be at least 7 or 8 feet tall. and it's like towering over her going, trick or treat, trick or treat. And I was like, oh, that's messed up. But apparently that was supposed to be her daughter.
So yeah, because she mentions later on when she finally opens up to Shannon about her daughter, is that she wore, and I think this is her way of trying to identify to us what the fuck she meant by "that's really cruel, you shouldn't do that."
Yeah.
Is that her daughter for Halloween used to always dress up as a spooky ghost with a white sheet on. And she said, I tried my best to get her in. And this kind of just describes the kind of people that they probably were, as opposed to the people that they are now. She was like, I was trying to get her in princess dresses and little girly stuff, but no, she just wanted to wear this ghost outfit. And then I decided not to fight it because she needs to be who she is. And it was a beautiful, lovely conversation between the two of them, but it really explained, it gave me a bit more insight as to who they were.
To be honest with you, it's a bit, I can appreciate it because I was the kid that dressed up as Frankenstein when I was there's a photograph of me somewhere. It was a Halloween, I think it was like brownies, like Halloween brownies back
We
in
went to
like
brownies.
the
We
early
went to
90s.
brownies.
And I'm dressed as like my sister's dressed as a devil. You know, she got a nice little red dress on. She was 2 years younger than me. And then there's
Ah.
me, full on bolts through the neck. You know, I've got bloody scars all over my face, painted myself green, had denim on because obviously back then you couldn't, you know, we didn't have blazers and stuff like that. You know,
Denim and leather, man, or fake leather.
I had
Leather.
big platform boots on and I had some jeans on and I had, you know, it was like my own version that didn't cost too much. I think my mum was like, you're not cutting anything up and you're not wearing a bin bag. So
Oh well, that was just my fucking Halloween. That's like the Northeast trademark of Halloween costumes was a black bin bag,
the
a witch's
fingernails.
fucking fingernails, witch's hat. It was the black, like plasticky black hat with the
Yeah,
green hair
yeah.
coming down, the fingernails, and a
Smell.
fucking bin bag.
I can smell that
Oh,
hair. I can smell the
I
hair.
can feel it. Fucking
Oh
horrible
no.
texture.
Mm-mm.
And because pumpkins, I don't know the story of pumpkins to turnips because we didn't do turnips. We didn't do pumpkins as a kid. We were turnip kids. I don't know if that is the traditional lantern.
Yeah, they were here. Turnips were the
Yeah.
traditional lanterns here, yeah.
Yeah, I always remember because it was such a bitch trying to get the string around the top in order for it, because turnips are fucking heavy. Like really heavy, and they used to tip forward all the time. So guarantee that, that candle wasn't staying lit for very long.
No.
And my poor parents having to carve that out. I bet they were fucking pleased when pumpkins came along and it's like, oh, this is so much easier. But yeah, that was a staple of Northeast dress up. I remember when I was at college, I did no, I wasn't at college. I was at school going to the college that I would end up going to go and do drama at. And I was only about 10 years old or something. And I was so in awe of this, like the college kids putting on like a performance, and it was a full on like immersive, like interactive performance. And I was just and I was like, oh God, this is what I'm going to do. And I did end up actually doing it, but I was like, this is what I want to do. But I wanted to so badly just ask so many questions, but I was so fucking nervous. I end up going, how did you get your fingernails so long? And they were like, it's just the plastic ones from Halloween store. And I was like, okay. I always remember being that one of my cringiest moments of like, I was so excited to like ask all these questions, and that was the only one that came out, and I knew the fucking answer to it.
It happens.
It
It
does.
happens.
It does. But that fucking scene, man, when he got bigger and he's like, trick or treat, like, fuck off. Get
And
back in the lift.
while that's all going on, then you have Mr. Troy upstairs doing his
So yeah,
contortionist nonsense, don't
so
you?
Shannon doesn't get left out of this either.
No, she gets a good old
Oh, she gets a bit of a chomping on. Yeah. I actually wrote for this part, what the fuck is under the bed?
Well, this was the bit where you start to realize things aren't all as they seem. I mean, whilst you can,
Really?
well,
This bit?
for me, yeah, because this one's different.
Yeah.
When you see the other ones, you're like, okay, weird raven plague doctor dude,
Yeah.
kid dressed as ghost turns into bigger ghost. This one is, you can blatantly see what this is. This is a suicide.
Yes.
This is a suicide.
100% you can see it. But to me, what it looked like and I got really strong vibes of oh God, was it The Last of Us? The clickers for some I got that. I got oh gosh, it's scorched into my brain the other day. Now I can't remember what it was. Teeth. I'm just thinking of help. No. Pinhead. What the fuck is what's
Hellraiser.
Pinhead? Yeah, Hellraiser, but what are they?
Cenobites.
Get off the monitor, Binksy. Yes, Cenobites. Yes, that's what I got. Was that kind of
it's
it was
the movements.
It's the movements, it's the chattering of the teeth.
Yeah, because it was just a guy. I say just a guy. Troy James is about 6 foot. He's between 6'4", 6'7". He's a
monster
really
of a man.
But he was famous. He's done loads of stuff, like we said earlier at the beginning. He was actually on America's Got Talent, and he managed to make people feel sick on that, which I thought was brilliant. He has a bag over his head.
Yeah, he does.
And that's literally like a plastic bag, and it's secured around his neck the whole time he's doing all this.
It doesn't come off.
He's fully clothed. He's got like a vest top on, and some jeans or khakis or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And he contorts his body into like weird, like gymnastic bridge positions, and then he's clicking his body all around. So I see what you mean by like the jerky movement,
the jerkiness, and the clickiness of everything. He does one of the just sitting on my monitor. He does one of the you're gonna have to get down. He does one of the greatest spider walks I've ever seen.
He does.
He's actually stuck on me jumper. Right. Go. Sorry. No more. Oh, you little shitbag. So yeah, he does one of the greatest spider walks I've ever seen, because that really unsettled us, and it's right towards the camera as well. Yeah. But he has this unique thing of, it's the way he turns himself into be able to do the spider walk.
Yeah, where he like dislocates his shoulders and can dislocate his elbows, and he completely turns his arms all the way around the wrong way, and then he can flip out underneath that arm and then bring his entire body back around the other way.
Even if you don't want to watch this film, just try and find that scene, because it's unsettling, but it is actually quite intriguing at the same time. It's like, how in the fuck is he doing that? I did freak out when he went towards that belly.
Yeah, it was this bit when he is probably the first ghost where you realize he's trying to get into the baby as well.
Yes, there's a lot of people after this baby.
Yeah, he starts chewing on Shannon's stomach, the pregnant stomach. Although I don't know how, because his teeth aren't on the outside of the carrier bag, but still, that's neither here nor there. He starts trying to chew on her belly, and you can see all the blood pooling out, and you start to think, oh Jesus. And then next thing you know, she's screaming up, and then I think Henry comes running in, and Audrey, and then she's gone, isn't she? Just gone.
Everything's gone. So for all the things that okay, I have a question later on then. So yes, everything disappears like nothing had just happened, but she's still screaming her head off. Does the bite mark disappear? Because I don't think it does. No, it doesn't, does it?
Because he says, I've sewn her up, she'll be fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, then that's not going to answer my question. Then my question's already been answered in my own head. Oh, don't you start. So yeah, that was probably one of the most creepiest moments of the movie. Like, teeth lady aside, that's just gory as fuck. There's just no need for that. But where it comes to like, oh shit, the bed, what's going on here? That was one of them moments.
Yeah. I think that's when they realise it's got a bit out of hand at that point.
Do you think?
Yeah, because Ian turns up on the doorstep.
Fuck me, this guy. This guy, honestly, he looks like an absolute drip when you first meet him, because he has this book that Audrey lent him. And no, Audrey lent the book of him, and she goes to give it back, and he's like, oh, you you can just keep that. And she's like, well, I've read it. I don't want to keep it. And he's like, no, you keep that. And I'm like, oh, hey, mate, you didn't fucking want your book. Take it.
Because
And it's just a bit
yeah,
of a drip. And then all of a sudden he turns into fucking the Satanist expert.
yeah. I mean, he was in their fake Killstar group, and then they ring him because they think he's the one with the most knowledge. So they ring him to find out what's happened, because obviously they realize that things have got a bit crazy. And he turns up on their doorstep, and he's a bit sheepish, and they show him the book, and he says to them, well, you've got about 10 different languages, dialects, it's written all over the place, you know. What you could have done is open technically the gates to purgatory, which is what they have done here. They have basically made Shannon's baby fair game now.
Yeah, and it's open for everyone.
Yes.
And it feels like the house now, or Binksy, man, it feels like the spirits of the house are starting to have a bit of fun too, because we soon get the police lady knocking at the door.
Yeah.
And the police lady goes to arrest Henry because she finds Shannon.
It's Rory just before this, though.
Yes. So the guy who
wants to shovel the snow for some ungodly
and just
reason.
keeps showing up at the most inconvenient times, shows up at the house again, and he's like, I'm going to do this job for you. No, Henry, I want to do this job. And Henry finally just gives he just gives in. Fine, fucking do it. And he does. And it's a wood chipper.
Yeah.
And he's chipping some wood. And he turns round to Henry and Audrey and says, was that Jackson? Because Jackson's coming back to you.
Yeah. You've done the right thing.
You've done the right thing. He's coming back for you. And then all of a sudden, he puts his fucking head in the wood chipper.
Yeah. Now, did that give you Omen vibes? It's all for you.
It's all for you, Damien.
That's exactly where my mind went when I watched that little bit, where he just went, you know, and then he just went boof through his head in the wood chipper. And part of me was like, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. They just keep killing themselves.
I got that. Anytime wood chippers come into it, that's the first thing I think of is Tucker and Dale and the whole "it's all for you, Damien." That, and then just what the fuck did you just do? Because you don't really have a sense of the. See, this is where I think it's missing such a big part, is the explanation of the ghosts. Like I said, there's a lot that was explained to me after the fact. And if I knew it while we were watching it, maybe it would have made, because I'm going to say it now, there's actually more ghosts in that house than what you see.
Yeah, you get alluded to a lot more in the background and stuff like that.
It's very much like Flanagan's House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah.
Or the Haunted of Hill House.
Haunted
Hill House. And it's very much like that. There's a lot of ghosts within this house that you are not seeing because you are not looking. It's like the whole thing with the ritual. It was right there, and it was right there in front of us. We just we weren't looking for it.
Yeah.
And if I knew that the ghosts was so much more than, look at the control it had over Rory. And it felt like the house had a bit to do with it as well. Like the house was its own character.
I think so. I think that's what, I mean, so much of it is based in the bedroom where Shannon is literally chained to the bed. But
this is outside of it.
Yeah, Rory, this is a bit where you get a stark contrast from it being quite dark in the bedroom to being outside where there's snow everywhere and it's white, and then you get all the red where Rory's just thrown himself in. So Henry takes Rory's body and goes and disposes of it, and then he gets a phone call from the policewoman saying, I'm coming around your house, and he's like, fuck,
I've got a fucking hand in my hand.
He then runs, which I take my hat off to Henry for running. He runs all the way back from wherever the hell he buried Rory.
Buried or just left?
Covered with snow, shall we say. So, you know, when he thaws out, someone will find him. He runs all the way back to find that the policewoman has got Audrey on the floor in cuffs.
Yeah.
Shannon screaming, let me out, let me out. And then the police lady has literally got a gun on Henry the second he walks into the bedroom.
Go Henry. Didn't see
So
that one coming.
I had to rewind it and go, what the hell just happened? Because I didn't.
It's so
so quick.
It's so quick. So for all Henry is being told you're under arrest, Henry, for the kidnapping of Shannon, whatever her face is. But at the same time, Shannon is screaming her head off, let me go, let me out, let me go. And then all of a sudden she goes, you are safe, but there's one more thing I have to do. And she shoots herself in the head.
Yep.
Actually, under the chin. Even worse. Under the chin.
Oof. And then she becomes a part of the house.
But she is on repeat.
She's living that on loop over and over and over again. And when Ian comes around, they say to, like, Ian's downstairs when he's looking through the book and says, you know, you've opened the doors to purgatory. Where is your vessel? And they're like, oh, she's upstairs. Come with us. Toodaloo. Up the stairs they go. And they walk into the bedroom and Ian's standing there and he's having a discussion with her about, like, she needs to put salt down to make sure they don't come in, the spirits don't come into the room anymore. If Jackson's already in the room, then it's fine. Whatever's in here is in here. After that, never mind. And he gets them all ready, and then he says, I've got to take this away and I've got to study it and whatever. So he disappears anyway. So then he comes back the next day and they're all upstairs in the bedroom, and Ian comes upstairs when nobody answers the door. Door's left open with all this going on upstairs. Door's left wide open. Up the stairs.
Amateurs.
And he gets into the bedroom, and then you see the policewoman come up and go bang, and they went, yeah, she's been at this all night. It's just how blasé Audrey was about it.
There is, honestly, if I could describe this film in one word, is blasé, because they are so blasé about everything. It's like, yeah, she'll do it again in a minute. Hang on, she's coming back. Again, another thing that would have just, I don't know, I like. There's a lot of running themes in this movie, and I know the main one is the loss, the grief, and the guilt, and, you know, wanting to just being able to put something fucking right, like what, and being given that I totally get that, but the ghost side of it is so much more interesting, and for me anyway. And I don't feel like it was explored enough. Oh, they're just here.
I think there would have been a possibility for, I'm not saying like a 13 Ghosts ripoff, but the book could have had something in it about, like, the visitations of, say, a visitation of 3, or a sacrifice, which would have been the policewoman, or something like that. It would have made more sense than just random
ghosties
opportunist ghosts.
I think that we used as kind of like a scare tactic. Like, look at, here's another ghost. Here's a contortionist ghost going to go bite your dummy. I think that I can't really put into words what I feel on the ghosts, because I did actually like that aspect of it. I just wanted more. Yeah,
I mean, at this point, Ian's done all his research. He's been in his mum's basement screaming at her, and then he comes, like I say, he comes there, and the ghost is on repeat, but he has some blood, which nobody questions. Where'd you get that blood from, Ian? Where's your little Tupperware of blood come from? So he draws the line of blood right next to the line of salt. And then what you do is you see in the doorway, the policewoman come in and shoot herself again, but she turns right around and walks off again.
Yeah.
So it's done something, whatever it was, the blood and the salt. So he then starts to set up another, like, pentagram on the floor drawn in blood.
It's always a pentagram.
Or a pentacle. It might be
it's probably be pentacle if it's anything,
because it had the circle, so I think it's circle's a pentacle, isn't it? And the without is a pentagram.
I should know, but I don't. I have one on my back.
from what I've gathered, he paints that onto the floor, and Henry keeps getting phone calls after phone calls and text messages, and Henry looks at his phone, and it's the Kill Star wearing motherfucker from the cult that it rings Henry and says Ian's lost his mind, he murdered his mother, and he covered the house in symbols before he left last night, and the police are here asking me questions. And she's like, I don't even believe in that shit in the end. And I was like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah, you
Poser.
fucking poser. Yeah, I have. So, pentacle, pentagram. I have, if you don't know me personally, I do like the witchy side of life. And I have a symbol, because I've been following it for a very long time. And I have the symbol on my back of the goddess, the divine. But I have it upside down. So I don't technically have the goddess and divine. I have a satanic pentagram with the goddess divine symbol around it. Didn't realize the tattoo was to put it on upside down.
Whoopsie.
it's my version of a tramp stamp.
Hail satin.
Yeah, it's upside down. So it's kind of like a mixture of both, but I couldn't tell you if it's pentagram or pentacle.
I'm pretty sure a circle dictates around that it's a pentacle. If it has a circle around it, it's a pentacle. If it's no circle, it's a pentagram. Or it could be the other way around, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it
I
is.
don't in my practice, I don't follow the ways of the Wicca and the pentagrams and stuff like that. So
It's just a symbol. At the end of the day, anything like that, any symbol, any doodle, any rune, they're only worth the stock you put into them. If you don't put any stock into them, then they mean nothing. So
that's very true. Well, they put a lot of stock into this one.
Yes, they bloody did.
They put the fucker on the floor.
And it started to shimmer and shine after he painted it, because he started reading words out of his what looked like a burnt book. Did it look burnt to you, like they pulled it out of a fire?
Yeah, it did. I know that they tried to stick, because the books that they used essentially books of the dead, and they try and stay away from the name Necronomicon because they don't want to confuse that with another horror movie franchise.
Or the H.P. Lovecraft massive novel, which I have downstairs.
Do you?
Yeah, the Necronomicon is like this big. It is big,
I've seen it. I've only just found not a new love, because I never had one, but a love for H.P. Lovecraft. I think it was a TV show, or was it Reanimator that I kind of like? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot when it comes to Lovecraft. You can find a lot of his themes like running underneath through a lot of movies. But yeah, there's I mean, Jeffrey and Barbara have done another one after this, after Reanimator as well.
Really?
They did another Lovecraftian type movie as well. Yeah. Off the top of my head, I've gone blank. I remember Castle Freak. No, that's not the one, is it? Oh, I can't remember. I've gone blank. My brain is full of nargles. That is a loony Lovecraft reference there. Love good. See, talking about Lovecraft. There we go. But yeah, it's the book just looks really mishmashy. It just looks like pages and pages of either burnt paper and like a scrapbook.
Is that the way they try to get away with it? It's an old book, because some pages didn't look like they were old. They looked quite crisp and fresh.
So he's reading out of that, and next thing you know, he goes and takes his shoes off. Right, this is the point where it got a bit weird. Weirder.
This got a bit weird, but did I not want to try this in some way?
Well, Ian went and took his shoes off, didn't he? And then he made a satanic cross, the Saint Michael, which, if you don't know, it's not a real thing. Okay, the upside down cross is actually represented in the Bible. It is Saint Michael. I'm pretty sure it's Michael, who said he wasn't worthy of being crucified like Jesus. So he wanted to be hung inverted, because he said that he wasn't, he wasn't worthy of being killed, the way that Jesus was killed.
Yeah. If I'm right, it's just I think unworthy is the right word, and just fallen, kind of like as in yourself has fallen.
Well, the thought on this is that a crucifix is only a crucifix when it has Jesus on it. So the inverted cross is just it's an upside down cross, and it is represented in the Bible by I might have got the name completely wrong, because I'm not versed. It's been a long time since I've been to Sunday school. And if
I went once
church,
and got asked to leave.
Yeah. So But yeah, the whole thing about the upside down cross is in the Bible. It's not a satanic thing.
No.
It's just been attributed to it because people just like the idea of flipping something on the head.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not an up. When you see just a plain cross that's inverted, it's actually not a crucifix. You know, like they're like, oh,
It's not a religious symbol.
not really, no, but it
No.
could be
I
if you
didn't
know
know
your
the whole
shit.
like I didn't like know whole the crucifix and Jesus. I actually have even though I don't believe, I just find this piece very beautiful. I have a crucifix in my kitchen with Jesus hanging off it. It's about this big, it's metal, it's sharp, the edges are sharp as fuck, and I got it from the Sacre-Cœur in Paris. And I went, oh my God, I actually quite like that. I want it. And it was, I think at the time there was still francs. It wasn't like euros. I was like, I'm going to have that because I'm so fucking different.
Our entire hallway, when you walk into our house, you have a hallway from the front door and it goes into the kitchen and the front room and upstairs. It's covered in religious iconography. We've got Jesus, Mary, hundreds of crosses. We've got
Yeah, so cool.
it's loads and loads of it. We've even got Bun Jesus, and Bun Jesus was one of the best things I've ever bought. It is a cross on the wall, and there's a bit of wire going from the bottom to Jesus jumping off the crucifix like he's bungee jumping. So it's
I'm
called
just
Bun
getting it.
Jesus.
But
Yeah,
Jesus.
and it is one of the best things that's up on the wall. We've
Oh,
got
that is brilliant.
we've got so many different weird things. When we went to Spooky Empire, they had the tattoo convention at the same time, and one of the guys from Ink Master was there, Mark, and he'd done a Dave Navarro as Mary, as like the Mother Mary, and it said only Dave can judge us on the bottom. So I've got that on the wall. So anything sort of religiously and weird and like iconography, and we've got our Satanic Temple membership certificates all framed as well to scare people. And then Rob's mum's painted a couple of Jesuses up like zombies. So when you walk in, you see
Confusion
scare the
for the
Jehovah's.
Christians.
It's great. I love scaring the
Oh,
Jehovah's.
that sounds so cool. I've just got in my hallway Marilyn. Actually, I have a few prints from stuff to do with our wedding, but I have a 6 foot, maybe 7 foot canvas of Marilyn Monroe placed perfectly at the end of my hall. So as I walk out, I say hello to her, and as I'm leaving, I can say goodbye to her. So I always say hello and goodbye to Marilyn as I leave my house. She's been with us for years. She is old. She is, dated as fuck. There's no way of cleaning that without actually ruining that. But she's been with us for so many years. I can't part with her. I don't care how she looks on my wall. She's fucking class. I was going to say something else about. Oh yeah, I used to have a Jesus t-shirt that said "Don't fuck with a Jesus" from The Big Lebowski. But it was like a mashup of "Don't fuck with a Jesus" and "Buddy Christ" at the same time. And I decided to wear it in Florida. I know.
Man, you need Jesus.
No, I got a lot of love because people saw it as "You don't fuck with a Jesus."
Oh God, it
So
went the
I am
opposite way.
down
Wow.
with it. I am down with the Christians. I actually got a lot of love. So yeah, could have gone really wrong though in Florida. Sorry if there's anyone from Florida listening to us. I do apologize. Right, back to the movie.
So Ian started the ritual.
Oh, that's right, his feet.
He cuts his feet, but he does it in a way at which he's done the upside down cross on both of the soles of his feet. So when he walks and he's leaving blood trails, you've got the little crosses. And I'm like, did I just see that right? And I rewound it a little bit and watched it back, and he did, because you don't see him do it, but you see him do something and you're not sure what it is he's doing. So clearly he's cutting his feet then to do it. So he's walking to the pentagram on the floor. And then he starts reading out of the book. And then does he get Audrey and Henry to both blood sacrifice and cut their hands open again at that point? Or was that in the earlier ritual? it's very confusing at this point to me.
To be honest, this bit really just mushed into a lot because there was a lot going on. Because all the ghosts kind of appear at that time. Shit kind of gets weird. I might have checked out for a few minutes mentally, like just no,
Well,
what the fuck?
he's there screaming, covering himself in blood, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
And then
The fucking
next
just
thing you
bucket of
know,
blood.
contortionist guy's back in the corner. But the reason why they're all in there is because when Ian came back in the room, he accidentally kicked the salt line out. So
You know, the dick who
let
wanted
them
to
all
put
back
there
in.
he wanted to put there in the first place. He was clever enough to say put the salt down to stop them and showed that it actually worked, but wasn't clever enough to check his fucking feet as he's walking through the door.
Yeah.
What a dick.
So you get creepy contortionist man, he's back. But then you get he starts talking about like sacrificing the mother, and he keeps going on about the mother, and Shannon at this point had already slipped her cuffs, and she just grabbed Audrey, and she was threatening to stab Audrey with a glass at that point, wasn't she?
Yeah, she managed to get some glass. But before all of this happened, there was, like we were mentioning earlier, there was a lovely conversation and showed the bond, not the change, because Audrey would never waver from what she wanted to do, but the kind of like change in attitude towards Shannon. Because I fully believe they were going to dispose of her.
Oh yeah, because there was that bit, wasn't there, where Shannon starts talking to Henry, and Henry literally just sits there and he's like, "But you don't understand. I would gladly do anything that she wants me to do. It's if it makes her feel better, I'm there for her. If she believes that this is the way through, then I will do it with her." And that is where you believe, like, okay, I think I know how this is going to turn out. And to a degree, yeah, you got there, but like it wasn't how I thought they were going to end, put it that way. So
no, not at all. But they had the conversation where Audrey was going to ask Henry, once the baby was born, could Shannon still live with them? She's even said, I am more than willing to be chained downstairs, but I just want to be able to see this baby.
Yeah.
Even if it's Jackson and it's not my baby, I just want to be in this child's life. I've carried it for 9 months. And Audrey's like, don't see why not. And it kind of like has a shift in their relationship. But obviously that goes out the fucking window by the time we're at the end, because Shannon's now got a bit of glass up to Audrey's neck.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I know Audrey goes first, but I genuinely can't remember how.
Oh, I know. Somehow she breaks free, and I can't remember how she breaks free from Shannon. Shannon's still got one cuff on and one cuff off, I think, at that point. And Henry seems to manage to pull Audrey away or something like that. And then Ian starts going crazy, and he stabs Audrey in the stomach.
That's it.
And he says, a mother is a mother. It doesn't matter which one of you needs to be sacrificed or something. And then he takes all the blood off of Audrey and starts covering his head in it, and like his comb over's flapping in the wind, and he's like having a proper mental moment about how it was always going to be about him, like what the spell that he wanted to do rather than what's actually happening.
He turned on them.
Yeah, he basically wanted to bring something into the room rather than put something into her belly, I think, from what I could gather. He was trying to summon the devil, I think.
He wanted, yes, that is absolutely right, because I'm going to say yes now, and I'll explain myself later.
Yeah.
But yeah, the devil. He wanted the full-on fucking devil in the room. It's not what they had originally. Obviously, it was Surget that they had originally, but he wants full-on fucking Beelzebub in the bedroom.
Helium. Yeah. He next thing you know, though, there's a mental patient, and I know that's not the correct term, but that's what this guy looked like to me, like he was a hospital patient. Literally practically piggybacks onto Ian and then starts like grabbing Ian, and then Ian's being dragged out of the room, and that's all you see of Ian ever again. And I'm like, well, that was a shit demise, I have to say.
It was for what he just did,
for the character build up that he had. And I was just like, you could have done something really creative there. Did you run out of money? I don't really know
Or
what.
time?
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
it was shit. It looked, do you know what it looked like? Almost amateur.
yeah,
Almost like that wasn't
like we don't
it
know how to wrap this bit up. Let's just do that.
yeah, it didn't like
Yeah,
almost like they wrote themselves in a corner with him. And
yeah.
like, okay, we'll just have him dragged out the room. And it looks like even the shot doesn't look the same as the rest of the film. It's such an afterthought shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now. Scooty on out the door.
And then he was gone, and that was that. And I was just like, oh, okay. So Audrey's dead.
Bye.
He's been dragged out by a ghost. And from what I can remember, Henry's trying to still calm Shannon down. And
Calm
he's
down,
looking
woman.
and he's looking at Audrey. He's obviously absolutely devastated. And he's saying to Shannon, calm down, calm down. And all of a sudden, all this blood just goes hufflum all over Shannon, doesn't it? Out of Henry's mouth. And you look over at Audrey and you start to see like her back's cracking and contorting. And then old baghead, creepy contortionist man runs away.
Yeah.
Like literally runs away. And he's like I say, you see all the cracking and that. And you start to hear like, I can't really explain it. It's like like when something's coming out of a human, like when you see those body horror movies and like they're shedding the body, that it's pretty much
the
that
bones,
kind of
yeah. Yeah.
the ribs cracking and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously Henry slowly starts to die, and the same thing starts happening to Henry as well. And this whole time Shannon's freaking out trying to get free. But this is where it sort of fell flat for me.
Okay.
The last
bit.
minutes. Because I couldn't. You've gone to the climax of the movie is this, that a demon was summoned from the bones of Audrey and Henry. So a demon is created. Just one, which you only see the silhouette of. You don't see any features, any figures. You don't know if it's the devil, a demon. You have no idea what it is. I mean, I might have missed it, and Ian might have said, but I don't remember.
I don't remember. I had to go and find out because the ending is so ambiguous.
Yeah. So Shannon then manages to get free, and she legs it out the room. She's accosted by every ghost in the house.
Oh yeah, she meets everyone along the way. They're still there.
Yeah, Rory's still there in the garden telling her, she's a bitch because she won't let him see the kids. And I'm like, what have I missed here? And then realised it's just that was part of his story.
It's his hell. That's his personal hell, and to the point where he just puts his head in a wood chipper to end it.
But yeah, and then she speeds off in the 4x4, stops in the middle of nowhere, which in the woods, I don't fucking think you'd have me stopping anywhere in the middle of the woods in the night.
I mean, you would if that thing walked out in front of us, I would.
But I couldn't see what it was. It looked like her.
Yes.
To
a degree. So
I was like,
you didn't see Henry's back cracking.
Right.
It's only Audrey.
Right. I thought it was Henry as well.
Who is, if it is, then this video that I watched afterwards missed that. Because
no, you probably are right. Because it got so dark.
It's so quick as well. That ending is so.
Yeah, because they both had dark jumpers on, which is old-fashioned knitted jumpers, right? Henry had one on. Audrey had one on. So, but they were very similar in color. His was black and hers was dark purple. And because it was so dark in the room, it probably was just her, to be fair. And I just presumed it was both.
The devil got Audrey.
All right.
The devil got its baby. And the devil is walking in front of the car.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. And they both look at each other. They both realize they have, because then she puts a hand on her stomach and is like, you're still there. And the devil, they kind of like, it's almost like they have a moment with each other where they're like, you've got what you want. I've got what I want. I'm going to go this way. You're going to go that way.
So is that how you see it? Because I just sat there and I was like,
that I had to have that look. I had to go and watch a video for the ending of it to be explained because I'm like, one, I couldn't quite make out what it is I was looking at.
You couldn't see because it's sort of the headlights stop here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see a face again, which is probably a budgetary thing. When I did try and look up the budget, couldn't find diddly squat on how much they spent on this film. I'm
Mm.
guessing not a lot, considering they used the director and writer's houses for the main of the,
Well,
you
that's
know,
what I thought.
film.
I thought it might be low budget indie
Yeah. If it's a
style.
Shudder movie, it usually is somewhere in the realms of next to nothing and a couple of, toilet roll insides and a bit of this and spit and polish and stuff. But
Nice.
yeah, it's you just see what looks like her walking across the road, basically in the headlights as
Yeah.
Shannon's parked up. And you see it looks pregnant, and it looks, I couldn't work out whether it was a really overweight woman or a pregnant person. I couldn't tell.
Pregnant because I only believe pregnant because just before Shannon puts her hand on her stomach, she puts her hand on her stomach.
Right.
And then Shannon kind of like does the same, realizes everything's okay, and she just I'm referring to her as a she, but just only because after I saw a better image of it, it looked like a she. And it just walks away, as in, you go one way, I'll go another, I'll pass, don't have to cross again. Job's a good one. See you later.
I did see one video that said it was a type of demon called, now this is the bit where I got confused because I couldn't, it was either called Van or Man because they weren't particularly forthcoming with the pronunciation on that one. And it is a perpetually pregnant demon.
Oh.
So but then to be fair, it could have been someone looking into Laura and went, oh, that fits, we'll put that into the narrative. Because nowhere could I find any interviews with Justin or Kevin that would explain the storyline.
No.
I've looked through I've been looking for interviews on online. Nothing, just reviews, and then the odd there's one video on YouTube that was an interview with the director and the writer, but it was done over a telephone call, and they'd recorded it, and it was so bad you couldn't hear.
Yeah.
The quality was awful, and I was like, I'm sure if I listen to this, I'd probably have some resolution. But within like 2 minutes of listening to it, I was like, no, can't do this anymore. This is so irritating.
Yeah, this movie had no facts to go along with it. Nothing apart from the housing situation, the fact that the writers, where the background came from, that was all that was there. I don't mind this movie for all that.
It had the bones, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It had a great. I always love something that questions, that gives you a question for yourself. Like in the midst of grief, what lengths would I go to? Would I go as far as what Audrey and Henry would do to get over my grief?
I think for me, I've come away with it a twofold. It's a love story.
Yeah, massively. It's massive, especially when he goes, it's just all for her.
It's a love story in respect of how much Henry loves Audrey and what he'd do for Audrey, and also a love story for Audrey for what she'd do for Jackson. So in that respect, it is a love story, but then also I feel like it had the potential of having a bit of a cult following if they managed to 13 ghosts up the ghosts. Like if they had a tiny bit of lore in there, might have gone a little way for me. I mean, that's just a personal thing. Other people,
no, and honestly, I agree. I agree. I think that's what I was just looking for, a bit more substance when it came to the ghosts, and just to flesh that out just a little bit more. If anything, I wanted more. Don't get us wrong, I didn't at all through this film go, when the fuck is this going to end? I was like, give me more depth, give me more of these ghosties. I want to know. I want to see more.
I think it's the way it finished as well, where it was just so boom, done, and I was like, oh, okay, we get nothing.
Yeah. I was like, oh.
It literally finishes the second the pregnant demon devil person walks across the comes out of shot of the headlight, and that's the end. And it was like, whoa.
Yeah. Another movie where I'm not going to be able to look at fucking the forest when I go away to my log cabin in September. Not going to be able to go and have a walk around the walkways because, forests. Fuck that.
How dare you? With all those
Oh,
big
hey.
trees and stuff.
So that is anything for Jackson.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that is.
I've got one thing that I heard, but I don't know it's true because I didn't go back and watch it. But apparently there is a black cat nearly in every scene.
Is there? And
Apparently
you'd think
so.
I'd pick that up, given that one
I don't
just
know if
came
it's a
trying to turn my
stuffed cat.
computer up earlier.
I don't know if it's a stuffed cat, a real cat, what, but if you go
Hey.
onto IMDb, it is one of the there's only about 10 trivia things
Yeah.
there, and that was one of them.
Is that your port of call first on all researchers IMDb? Because it's
No, that's
fucking
my
mine.
go-to if I cannot. IMDb is my go-to if I can't find anything else. It is like, and this is how desperate I was for this movie. I had to go to the trivia section, and when I saw there was only like 10 in entries, and 5 of them were exactly the same, I was like, yeah, I've got no hope of finding anything on this one.
I give up, in all honesty, because I know the idea of this was to look at something different. We know Mike has like such a great catalog of reviews that he's done for his own horror asylum. We knew that, so this is why we wanted to say, like, Mike, just pick us some fucking random film and let us talk about it. And I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, I'm getting into such a routine now where Tuesdays is my monster day, and Friday I can break like Sunday up to Friday into Sunday. So I've kind of like got a little bit, but Tuesdays is my monster day. So Tuesday I get to do everything monster related.
What would you rate this film then out of 5?
Oh, I want to say about like 3.
I was gonna go 3.5. So yeah, we're in the same ballpark.
Same ballpark. 3. Aesthetically, it's beautiful. It's stunning. Character development, the Henry and Audrey characters, you do get you get to know them pretty much straight away, and there's not pretty much straight away, but you get to get a sense of them too. I can sense what their lives are now, what their lives were. So I kind of feel like I got a lot out of them too. To be honest, if it was just them two on screen for like an hour and a half, just sitting having a chat with each other, I think I would have thoroughly enjoyed it, because it just seemed like two. So that opening scene with Audrey when she's doing that speech, where she's like, you have been kidnapped. You are not going to be harmed. We're going to take good care of you. Oh, wait, Dr. What? Wait, well, just wait a minute. It's the wait a minute bit. And this is Henry, my husband. You will know as Dr. Walsh. I almost thought we were getting some kind of like funny, and there were some really funny lines in it. Especially when they mentioned the book, and he explains the story how he went to Jerusalem, and he was like, "Oh God, how much did you pay for it?" And he was like, "Well, I don't have a life savings anymore." And it's like, there were some really like funny bits. Henry was such a warm character, such a warm person. When he was talking to Shannon, the reason Shannon was picked was due to her lifestyle. 1, she had no family. 2, she didn't want the baby. There was a lot of anxiety around that. And the doubt and hesitation comes a bit more into play when Henry has another conversation with her, because there's a lot of flashbacks in this movie. And there's a conversation between him and Shannon where she accepts the baby. And she's happy. And Henry's like, shit, you're not going to be happy very soon, are you? I'm going to come shit all over that pet.
Yeah, for me, 3.5, because I love the idea of having 2 protagonists that aren't your typical 20-something-year-olds.
Yes.
I love the concept that the last thing you would expect 2 elder people to be doing is to summon devils to do satanic rituals to bring back their grandson.
Or even just think to join a satanic cult.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's fantastic. No matter which way I look at it, I just think it's a fantastic thing to even think of in your brain. I love the idea that it was a minimal cast. I love the idea that you saw the nods to things, whether they were intentional or not. There was nods to like a lot of films, like we say, like Damien and things like that. And then it's a refreshing movie.
It is. It really was. It was something. It was. I feel like, I think we've talked about this before with horror. There is such a trope, and we're starting to see the same thing over and over again, whether it be theme, aesthetic, color, characters, stuff like that. It's just like the same old, same old.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is just so far out of my horror wheelhouse that I was like, oh, yes. This is why I wanted to do this for, because I wouldn't go out my way and watch that.
I think I've lingered over it a couple of times in the respect of that when I flick through Shudder. Problem with Shudder is they make the video front pages look fantastic, and then you'll watch the film and it'll be so bad.
Yes,
So,
tell us about it.
I've always been incredibly weary when I'm on Shudder about the fronts, like the covers. And I lingered over it a couple of times and read it, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Because I think I said to you, didn't I, last week when we went off air, I said, has it got an upside down crucifix with some faces in it? And you were like, yep. I was like, I knew I'd seen it somewhere. So
Shudder.
yeah, so for me, it's like I think 3 out of 5 is solid. They would have got probably a 4 had they have done a bit more character development on the demons, ghosts, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, I'm happily sitting at 3.5 on that one. I think I highly recommend anyone to go and watch it. Even if we have spoiled the whole thing for you. It's been out 4 years. It's been out 4 years. You know, you can't.
Yeah,
really...
we're in safe grounds. We're in safe grounds. Yeah. Hopefully, we've not upset Mike throughout this whole thing, and he's not just been screaming into the abyss about what we're seeing.
Mike does every time I open my mouth. I think Mike's like, oh God. I'm just going to disagree with everything she says. So
there's been a couple of occasions where I see his comments going, I agree with you, Dan. And I'm like, oh my God, that must have taken everything in you to say that.
I do on occasion make sense, but I will underline on occasion. So
yeah. Well, we will visit Mike's picks later on down the line.
Yes, we will.
But next week. What was that? Oh my gosh, right, okay. I get you. So next week we're going into a big hitter. I want to say possibly the last big hitter, but it's not. He's not.
Way more than that.
Absolutely, but he is a big hitter. He is sat to my left right now. If nobody can see him, because I don't know how far Paul cuts these out. We are doing Ghostface next week. I feel like I could have introed that a lot better. That I'm disappointed in myself because I have a lot of love for the Scream franchise. We're doing Ghostface next week. So we're going to be looking at Ghostface, see if he's a contender for the kill count champ.
1 to 5 or 6? 6. We're at 6 now.
6. We're at 6 now. What we won't be doing, and I'm going to say this right here, right now, we will not be talking about the controversy that is happening around season film 7.
No, because frankly, I'm not looking into it because I'm not going into politics because politics has no place for me on this podcast, on my page, or anywhere like that, because politics, lovely if that's what you want to focus on, but really that's not where we're at. We're not going to discuss it. If you bring it up in the comments in the chat, I'm not going to look at it or respond to it.
In all honesty, I'll probably delete it. I'm going to be completely honest, because there's a lot of controversy around the next Scream movie.
Yeah, it's far too divisive, and no. You sneeze in the direction of one or the other and you're in trouble. So I'm not going down that.
Not at all. So I'm making the decision right now, not talking about it, not talking about anything to do with it. Will delete anything that's brought up in comments, because I'm about what's already been released, and I want to talk about what's already been released. And I just want to talk about the first film. Just like let's just talk about the first film. I love it. So yes, Ghostface is next week. I'm very, very much excited for Ghostface. Very excited.
I've got a lot of watching ahead of me, but I don't mind because I enjoy all of these. So, well, I say all of these apart from the last 5 and 6, not too much, but
5 is on Netflix.
They're all on either Amazon for free or Netflix. All of them.
There's a mixture, isn't there? It's like Prime's got 2, 3.
They're all of them.
Yeah, they're across everywhere. To be honest, I own them. They're right there. I could just quite easily turn one of the PlayStations on, but it's honestly, it's so much effort when all I have to do is pick my remote up and just click a button.
I'm not buying number 5 for love nor money. That can get in the bin.
No, but I would buy 6.
I wouldn't buy 6 either. But if it was a choice between 5 and 6, I'd buy 6. But
Well,
yeah,
we'll have that conversation next week.
oh, we will.
Oh, we will.
Oh, we will.
Oh, we will. We are up every Monday on YouTube, premiering at 7 o'clock. If you can like, share, and subscribe, we are close. Now, I don't know. Bearing in mind, this goes out on Monday. I don't know how we will be by then. Maybe we passed it, maybe we are just near it, but we're close to 2,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. And we're really, really having a big push. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your mom, tell your dad, just tell anyone. Then tell them to come and check out the Monsters Up North podcast that is available on YouTube and on audio every Tuesday. Oh, that's right. That's right. I got too excited about telling your parents and telling everyone. Our links for Nerdy Up North, Bleeding Marvelous, and Monsters Up North is down below. If you can, go and give Monsters Up North some big fucking love on Instagram and on TikTok. I would be thoroughly pleased. Please to God, go and check out Dan's Instagram and TikTok. You have just hit a milestone as well.
Facebook, we've just hit 40,190 followers.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, crazy, because I don't buy likes. I never buy likes. What we get is just by word of mouth and stuff like that. I boost a post, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm paying for likes.
No. Nerdy Up North's never done the same, but it's fucking phenomenal. And also you've just Bleeding Marvelous is just getting some new merch in.
We got a lot of stuff.
We got stuff. You want some stuff and some things? We got them.
So Sarah Peach, thank you. Just say thank you, because it's on its way. She's bought some bits. So
oh my god. Well, I haven't been paid yet. So I have, but it hasn't been paid yet. So you never know, maybe more. But yeah, please check out Bleeding Marvelous. They do have some fantastic stuff coming out, and already out. The bag just looks fucking brilliant. I'm not gonna lie.
There'll be a lot coming across social media in the next little while. Pure Horror, she's going to be doing us a little media campaign. Yeah, and also Emily Boo, but trying to get hold of Emily at the moment. She does a thing where she has a social media blackout for her mental health, which is completely understandable.
Oh my god! All power to her. I wish I had that. I wish I had the strength.
So yeah, so when she's back online again, I'm sure she's going to be debuting one of the bags as well. So little bits and pieces. So yeah,
a lot of exciting stuff coming your way.
There really is. We've got a lot of stuff coming. So keep your eyes open. Yeah.
You've heard. It sounds amazing. Needless to say, I'm gonna be skinned. I feel like that's it. Is that it? So
it is, yeah.
It is. So all that's left to say is goodbye, Dan.
Bye, Dan.
Bye, everyone. Stay spooky. Bye.